Let's be real. Who doesn't imagine becoming so incredibly rich they can splurge money on insanely expensive things like sports cars, yachts, million-dollar homes they can throw extravagant parties in? As children, we aspire to be Richie Rich, and as adults we dream of having a bank account with as much money as Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates. Hey, we can dream, right? But did you know that besides these common luxuries, there are other unbelievable things money can buy that you and I can't afford, since we're going to spend the next 2 decades paying off college loans? And it won't be an exaggeration if we call some of these things extremely bizarre. But before we get started, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more such amazing content. Number 12. Steve Cohen's 14-foot preserved shark. Rich people are often pretty eccentric too. After all, who would buy a $12 million painting just to hang it on a wall? Well, the answer is ultra-rich people. But some of these take things to an even higher level when they decide to spend their money on one-of-a-kind acquisitions. And we're not talking about a decorative Persian rug or a famous masterpiece by some 16th century sculptor. The object under discussion is a globally famous one-of-a-kind masterpiece created by Damien Hirst. It's called The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living. Don't get confused by the fancy title. The sculpture is simply a preserved tiger shark that's about 14 feet in length. Billionaire hedge fund manager Steve Cohen bought it for a whopping $8 million. Turns out it's not that big a price to pay for an art piece made by one of the most important and trendy artists of our time. At this price, however, one would expect the shark to stay preserved for at least 100 years, but as it turns out, the shark is already starting to decay. So is it really worth all that trouble? We don't think so. What about you guys? Number 11. Mukesh Ambani's home. The class divide in India is quite fascinating. From having the greatest slums with people living in conditions of extreme poverty to multi-billionaires residing in luxury skyscrapers, India has it all. It is in fact home to the second most expensive residence on the entire planet, and it's only second to Buckingham Palace. This home, called Antilia, is located in Mumbai and belongs to Mukesh Ambani. It's not just a house, better to call it a tower covering 400,000 square meters of surface area. The mansion is like a small neighborhood with its own helipad, air traffic control, a 168-car garage, 9 high-speed elevators, a 50-seat theater, a snow room, several terrace gardens, multiple swimming pools, a spa, and even a health center. It would probably take a few months to fully explore this incredible mansion. The building is as safe and secure as it is luxurious, having the ability to withstand a magnitude 8.0 earthquake. And for a price tag of $2 billion, it better be safer than anti-nuclear bunkers. Number 10. Roman Abramovich's super yacht. All the football fans out there definitely know who Roman Abramovich is, but in case you don't know, he's a Russian-Israeli billionaire and the owner of the English football club Chelsea. He's regarded as a self-made gas oligarch. His net worth in 2019 was $12.9 billion. This means he can afford things we can't even afford to dream about. One of these being his personal yacht, Solaris. This is not an ordinary yacht, rather a 460-foot giant that proudly boasts a swimming pool, a helipad, 8 decks, a jacuzzi, an elevator, an outdoor beach club, a gym, a sauna, and 48 cabins. Phew, that was a long list of luxuries. It won't be wrong to call it a floating version of Mukesh Ambani's Antilia. Solaris can hold around 36 guests and more than 60 crew members at a time. The yacht costs an insane £430 million to be exact, and that's just a recreational splurge buy for Roman. Number 9. Larry Ellison's Hawaiian Island. Larry Ellison co-founded Oracle, a multinational computer technology corporation, and with the money his company makes, he's purchased the 6th largest island in Hawaii. The island is called LANAI and is probably one of the most breathtaking places on Earth. Larry owns around 98% of the island, and that means he owns around 90,000 acres of land. There's a small town on the island which is home to 3,200 inhabitants. The island also has 2 four-season hotel resorts and an animal shelter that's home to more than 400 feral cats. Ellison purchased the island from another mega-billionaire named David Murdoch, who is selling it for $1 billion, but the price at which Larry bought it is confidential. However, some have predicted it's around $300 million. Ellison bought the island with the vision of converting this all-natural site lacking paved roads into a major and modern tourist destination. Number 8. Prince Al-Waleed bin Talal's Airbus A380. Prince Talal is a well-known Saudi billionaire and he owns 95% of the kingdom holding. Not just that, he also owns the majority shares in Citigroup. He holds 47.5% of the Four Seasons hotels and resorts and also fully owns the George V in Paris and Savoy in London. He's one of the extremely rich people who don't shy away from splurging on crazy expensive things like this airplane. In fact, he's quite into private planes. This Airbus A380 is no less than his palace, that's for sure. He ordered a double-decker Airbus A380 that can actually carry 2 Rolls-Royce cars and his favourite horses. You heard it, guys. When you're as rich as Prince Talal, you get to take your horses overseas with you. The plane is embellished with golden interior and even has a throne for His Royal Highness. There's also a custom-created dining table, an office, and of course a luxury bedroom. This gorgeous plane cost him more than $500 million. And to emphasize more on his wealth, we have to inform you guys that this isn't his only plane. He also owns a Hawker jet and an Airbus A321. Number 7. William Koch's Billy the Kid photo. Billy the Kid is one of the most popular outlaws and gunfighters of the Old West. Legend has it that Billy killed 8 men before he was shot and killed at the age of 21. Billy had a baby face and that's why he was nicknamed Billy the Kid. Billy's fame caused his photos and belongings to become of great value after his death. To this date, there's only one authenticated photo of Billy in the whole world, and this photograph is currently owned by William Koch, who actually bought it for $2.3 million at an auction. Koch is an executive of an energy company. He's also an avid collector of art and American West artifacts. He wanted this picture of Billy to be displayed at some museums for a while, but after that he would like to keep it to himself. Well, sometimes you just find weird ways to spend your wealth, especially when you have so much of it. Number 6. The car collection of Sultan of Brunei. Believe it or not, this collectively costs around $5 billion. Who hasn't heard of the immense wealth and power held by the 29th Sultan of Brunei? So it's kind of justified that he owns around 7,000 luxury cars worth $5 billion. That's quite insane, but equally real. This isn't a collection of your everyday cars though. In fact, he actually has a bunch of Ferrari F1s, and besides the F1 there's also about 450 other Ferraris in his collection. Same goes for the McLaren F1. The collection also boasts a variety of uber-expensive Rolls-Royces, Bentleys, BMWs, Mercedes, and probably many other super cool ones we can't think of right now. They'd probably take up a lot of parking space. Number 5. Jeff Bezos' newspaper cost $250 million. You heard it right. Jeff Bezos isn't a new name for any of us. We all know the guy who created Amazon and skyrocketed to becoming the richest man in the world. But did you know he's also pretty famous for his splurging and experiments? Jeff bought the Washington Post in 2013. He paid $250 million for this. That's quite some money for a newspaper in this era, when everyone is going digital. Not to mention the newspaper was bringing in less and less revenue with passing years. So why did he buy it? He didn't even step in to run it full time. According to sources, it's just an insightful investment for him. Bezos isn't the first one to buy a newspaper though. Recently, John Henry, who owns the Boston Red Sox, purchased the Boston Globe for $70 million. And let's not forget Rupert Murdoch's media assets. Number 4. JOCELYN WILDSTEIN'S plastic surgery cost $4 million. Whoever said beauty can't be bought wasn't aware of what plastic surgery could do. Proof is this New York socialite JOCELYN WILDSTEIN, who spent more than $4 million on getting cosmetic procedures done over a period of 30 years. After all, it's not like she didn't have the means for it. JOCELYN received $2.5 billion in a divorce settlement and $100 million per year alimony for 13 years after the divorce. The story isn't as glamorous as it sounds. The poor lady got obsessed with remodeling her face because she feared that her husband would leave her. She hoped he would find her more attractive if she started looking more feline, and therefore based her remodeling on exotic wild cats. She went under the knife several times for facelifts, eye reconstruction surgery, and collagen injections. All this added up to the hefty price tag of $4 million. She's regarded as the poster girl for negative effects of plastic surgery. Number 3. Elon Musk's car submarine. This car and submarine combo cost nearly $1 million. Not as much as the others on this list, thankfully. We all dreamed of having the Lotus Esprit S1 from the 1977 Bond film that went underwater and converted itself into a submarine, but obviously only Elon Musk had the means and connections to purchase that car. Elon is a huge James Bond fan. As it happens, a Long Island couple found this car in a storage unit they bought in 1989 for just $100. At the time, they weren't sure what it was, but later they put it up for auction in 2013, and only then they found out they'd been sitting on gold all these years. We bet Elon Musk was disappointed when he found out that the car couldn't actually transform into a submarine, although he did make his engineers take a shot, but later decided to use it as an inspiration for his Tesla Cybertruck. Number 2. Sugar Baby. We bet you weren't expecting this. If you're still living under a rock and don't know what a sugar baby is, we've got you. Sugar babies are actually very pretty and young girls who get complete economic support from older and sometimes much older, rich men. These girls don't care who you are, how you look, or where you come from. If you can afford to pamper them and pay their hefty credit card bills, you can get one. These girls want to live a life of luxury, and most men are happy to pay for their hundreds of Gucci bags, Chanel perfumes, and luxury cars in exchange for their time and company on terms decided between the two parties. Being a sugar baby is a highly lucrative profession, and that's why more and more women worldwide are choosing it as a full-time career. It's not even a secret anymore. Women are openly seeking to become a sugar baby nowadays. Except now it's not just the ladies who can be sugar babies. A lot of young men are also venturing into this field. Although this job can have serious repercussions in certain situations, like if the sugar daddy is married, it's also important that this arrangement is completely legal and consensual. So it's basically an arrangement where both parties benefit from the other, as the sugar baby doesn't have to work and their bills are paid by the sugar daddy. It's also easier for the daddies, for they can just be straightforward regarding their requirements instead of waiting for things to unfold at a slow pace. Just because this profession has gained acceptance openly doesn't mean the tabloids aren't filled with sugar baby scandals involving rich married men. This is obviously quite damaging to their marriage, not to mention their business might also suffer because of such scandals. Number 1. Carlos Slim's Museum in Mexico. This incredibly unique and breathtakingly modern piece of architecture was built by Mexican telecoms billionaire Carlos Slim. This building was designed by Slim's own son-in-law and is often compared to the Guggenheim located in Bilbao, Spain. He named it after his late wife, Sumaya. The museum is a gorgeous 6-story metallic structure shaped like a surrealist hourglass. A peculiar thing about the museum is that there are no windows in this entire building. There's around 3,400 invaluable art pieces in the museum, although that's barely a drop from Carlos's sea of 65,000-piece art collection that includes El Greco, Van Gogh, Matisse, and our favorite Picasso. Despite criticism, the museum is a hit with the locals and tourists of Mexico City. Another perk is that a visit to this museum is free, so you should definitely go in case you're in the city. Wow, who knew the rich people live like this? We sure didn't, but it's nice to know that a human being is capable of achieving so much. Did you guys enjoy the video? Do tell us in the comments which one is the most amazing and super expensive thing that you would like to own. Our money is on the AMBANI residence. See you all next time. Until then, you can check out our other videos. We're sure you guys will love them as much as this one.